Well, if Botox or just for men isn't an option, how else can older workers find a way to get back into a workforce that may not look to them once companies start hiring again?
I would suggest be proud of your age, be proud of your background.
Garbage.
Well, even though more and more economic indicators are showing signs of recovery, one of the last to experience it is unemployed workers. Typically, hiring takes many more months to kick in as bruised companies regain their footing. When hiring does resume, workers older than 50 have the hardest time finding work, which, as Shirley Engel explains, can mean having to make some hard choices late in life.
Middle 50s, late 50s, early 60s.
At 62, Lee James never imagined he'd find himself in a group of older workers out of work.
You still have a mortgage to pay, you have your RSP, and what between it getting nailed in the downturn and the fact that you hadn't made those plans to retire early.
Phased out in a restructuring with 40 years under his belt, prospective employers can't seem to see past the gray.
Nobody has said, I'm sorry, we aren't going to hire you because you're too old. But yeah, there has been the we'd love to hire you, but you're overqualified.
Older workers, unfortunately, are being let go because it's cost effective.
Michelle Eisman counsels many orphans of Ottawa's battered high-tech sector. Despite the skills and experience older workers bring to the table, they often hear this.
You're not going to be happy here because we wouldn't have enough to stimulate you, or we would ask you to do too many things that you wouldn't be able to do.
No matter how subtle, experts say those are examples of age discrimination. A recent survey in the U.S. found 80% of job seekers over 45 feel it exists in the workplace. 15% believe they weren't hired because of it. Here in Canada, though, it remains a mostly anecdotal phenomenon.
This ageism researcher says what's most telling here?
Older workers, once unemployed, they take the longest time to find work. I think it's 28 weeks to find work again, whereas people age 15 take only about 8 weeks.
53-year-old Jim Adamson has been looking for a year after 28 years at Bell Canada.
It's been suggested by recruiters that I cut my resume down substantially so that I look much more junior in appearance to the job market.
Still, this career expert warns against changing history or appearance.
The more you try to cover something up, the more the interviewer will look to what are you trying to hide. So I would suggest be proud of your age, be proud of your background.
As for Lee, he doesn't expect the salary he once earned.
Having done the management bit, I have a certain amount of enthusiasm for not having that responsibility on my shoulders.
Especially if the weight of being unemployed isn't either. Shirley Engel, Global News, Ottawa.